Chicago, a city where the concrete holds more secrets than the people walking over it.
All I hear is boom, 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 boom. Just seeing those two dudes they both had on masks.
We all know the names that defined the drill era, the faces that became posters for a generation of violence. But in the shadows of the South Side, there moved a figure who didn't need a microphone to be heard. He didn't brag on social media. He didn't chase the cameras. He was a predator who understood that in a war of egos, the most dangerous man is the one you never see coming. Rason Shaw, known to the streets as Lil B. He wasn't just another shooter in a war of attrition, he was an anomaly. He was a man who moved like a phantom, popping out of trash cans, dressing as the homeless, or walking a dog just to get close enough to feel the heat of the muzzle flash. Today, we peel back the layers of a legend built on silence and cold-blooded efficiency. This is the story of the man who made even the most feared ops look over their shoulders in their own hallways. This is the ghost of EBT. To understand the monster, you have to understand the betrayal. Lil B didn't start as an enemy to the black disciples. In fact, he was deep in the fold. He came up repping a set called TYMB, standing tall with figures like TYMB, Fei Fei. His own cousins were in the trenches with him. Rumors even suggest his cousin, Cortez, was the one who pulled the trigger on Tuka, a death that acted as a catalyst for a decade of bloodshed. Tuka was affiliated with STLEBT, and while he wasn't the first casualty in the war between the BDs and GDs, his death sparked a massive wave of violence that transformed the city. That death led to the fall of O.D. Perry, a respected member from Wick City. In his honor, the set changed their name, and Wick City became the now infamous O Block. The irony, TYMB itself was named after Edric Walker, known as Ty. Ty and Lil B were cousins. The bond was supposed to be unbreakable, but the streets have a way of poisoning the well. It started with a mistake. According to street rumors, the drama began when Lil B accidentally shot himself. While he was in the hospital, the police started circling the block, watching, waiting for a reason to hop out. When a fellow TYMB member named Manny was booked shortly after, the whispers turned into a roar. The accusation? Snitching. Though his name was eventually cleared and everyone realized he hadn't talked, the damage was done. TYMB members allegedly laid hands on him over the rumors. In the code of the streets, once the trust is gone, the target moves. Lil B didn't just leave. He crossed the most dangerous line in Chicago. He linked up with STLEBT. He didn't just switch sides, he became their most lethal weapon. Lil B didn't waste time. The loss for TYMB was massive, and he immediately began putting pressure on his old homies. 1 year after his defection, he allegedly opened fire on Solo from TYMB, but that was just the appetizer for a year that would go down in infamy. September 2011, a dispute between crews turned a street corner into a kill zone. When the smoke cleared, Gizzle from Squirt Town was dead with bullets in his head and chest. Witnesses, including Gizzle's own mother, pointed a finger at Lil B and a dude named Tutu. They fled the city to avoid the heat, but the vacuum of violence followed them. Tutu would be murdered just 2 months later, but the heat on his name didn't slow Lil B down at all. Just 1 month after the murder of Gizzle, Lil B was back on the hunt, sliding through Trap City territory, also known as Zone 7, with associates Drizzy and So Icy. He spotted a man named Rio. Rio was a member of Trap City, a hood that beefed heavily with STLEBT. Lil B didn't even exit the vehicle. He let off a barrage from inside the whip, killing Rio on sight. That was 2 ops taken out in a single month. But it was October 18, 2011 that solidified his status as an urban myth. Lil B walked straight into the heart of the beast, O Block. J Hood recalls being on the block with a group that included Uli, T-Stick, Boss Money, and Platoon. J Hood stepped away for a moment to answer a phone call and run upstairs. By the time he reached the staircase, the air was already filled with lead. From a 3rd-story window, J Hood watched 2 masked figures standing over the bodies. Platoon lay on the cold ground with wounds to his head, arms, legs, and chest. He was later pronounced dead. Lil B was the #1 suspect. He was becoming a shadow that haunted the very hallways his enemies called home.
So anyway, I'm running back up to the stairs. I'm almost up to the stairs, and all I hear is boom, 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 boom. So nigga, I run in the crib. I run in her crib to look out the window to see, like, cause she stayed on the 3rd floor. I'm looking out the window and I see the same 2 dudes that I saw that was walking up that I had the feeling about. They was standing over Oogie, letting off shots. But man, yeah, they standing over Oogie, they shooting him. I'm thinking they was shooting him at least. And I'm talking about, man, you know, this is my homie, like, you know, I was scared, but I wasn't too scared. Cause the moment that I saw them run away,
Lil B didn't move like most shooters. He stayed low-key, avoiding the clout chasing that sends most young men to prison. But the lack of social media posts didn't keep the police off his trail. He was eventually named as a suspect in over 30 cases. On December 17th, 2011, the violence continued. Lil B and King Lil J were allegedly out robbing people all day. They walked up to a car full of men. One victim handed over a watch, but when the driver attempted to speed off, Lil B opened fire. The driver was hit in the head and pronounced dead on the scene. What truly terrified his enemies was his patience and his disguises. He was a hunter who studied his prey. He once waited for a TYMB member heading to court, but he didn't hide in a car. He dressed as a homeless man, blending into the urban decay. When the target walked by, the homeless man erupted. He shot the man's ear off, missing a fatal headshot by a fraction of an inch. Then, in a move of pure psychological warfare, he called up his ops right after to brag about what he had done. Another time, he used a dog as a prop. To the members of Old Block, he looked like a regular citizen out for a stroll. Ocho Muna recalls the moment clearly. They tried to press the stranger because they didn't recognize him. Lil B was on his phone, casually walking the dog. Then in an instant, he dropped the leash and pulled a pipe, shooting one of them in the jaw. If the gun hadn't jammed moments later, Ocho Muna wouldn't be alive to tell the story. Even his own circle wasn't safe from his temper. He allegedly shot an STLEBT affiliate named King Cole during a dice game, simply because he believed Cole was talking to his girl. When Lil B walked around that corner and asked, "You been hollering at my girl?" the air went cold. Before Cole could even finish a sentence, the shots went off and the crowd scattered like roaches. By 2012, Lil B was putting in a staggering amount of work for his set, but he was also taking losses. In October of that year, his close friend P5, also known as Crack, was ambushed. Whether he was going for coffee or picking up weight, he wasn't prepared for the hit squad waiting for him. King Von, J Money, Big A, L.A. Capone, and Manny allegedly cornered him. P5 tried to run, but he was shot in the back. As he lay on the ground, the group walked up and executed him with 6 shots to the face. Lil B's revenge was a dish served cold. In September 2013, he hunted down J Money. He sat in the back of a car, crouched low so he couldn't be seen through the windows. He watched J Money, Prince Dre, and E-Dog pull up to a laundromat. Lil B was dropped off around the corner. He moved through the back of a house, slipping through the alleyway like a shadow come to life. When J Money began loading in his laundry, Lil B stepped out. He hit J Money in the legs, dropping him instantly. As J Money tried to crawl away, Lil B closed the distance, firing into his chest and forehead. The debt for P5 had been paid in full. Nobody knows the true count. Some say Lil B was behind at least 7 bodies. Lil 4 in 2010, Gazelle, Rio, Platoon, and Lavon in 2011, Scooter in 2012, and J Money in 2013. He was also credited with assists in the murders of Baldy and Sheroyd. His list of attempts and people shot at reads like a roster of the most famous names in drill history: King Von, Lil Durk, Lil Reese, and Breezy. But when you move like that, the clock is always ticking. For Lil B, the end didn't come from a rival's bullet. In March 2014, the law finally cornered the Phantom. Police claimed they witnessed a drug deal involving 21-year-old Rossin Shaw. Lil B ran, leading them on a 5-block chase. The official police report states that as he tried to jump a fence, he dropped a gun and reached back to pick it up, pointing it at the officers. They opened fire, hitting him 7 times in the back. He died on the spot. But the streets told a different story. His homies claimed he was unarmed that day. They said the police wanted him off the board by any means necessary. What remains the most haunting part of the story is that Lil B had allegedly just started a legit job cleaning houses for a woman named Shamika Jordan. He was expecting to be a father in just a few weeks. He was a man with a troubled past who was perhaps finally trying to step out of the shadows.
The nigga up that bitch in my face on my son. And the gun jammed.